Okay, ready? Alright, I shouldn't start it that way.
Put your thing down, boy. Welcome to my zoo.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. It's been a little bit since we've made a video.
So yeah, it's been a bit and a little bit has changed.
So we know that we just started our channel and we had big plans for getting a lot of videos out and pumping some content out. But some things have changed in our lives pretty recently. We're having a baby!
So I am 18 weeks pregnant, which is insane. I'm due September 11th.
She's just now starting to get a little belly on her.
But yeah, we're gonna start from the beginning, I guess. I have a list of questions written down that either people have already asked us or that I feel like they may be thinking but don't want to ask. So first question is, how did we find out that I was pregnant? Well, I was late on my period, as you are. I honestly didn't think anything of it.
I did. I had a feeling that she was pregnant and she kept telling me not to worry.
Well, this was in December, and the summer before I had inconsistent periods, so I honestly was not worried about it. But he was, so to ease his mind, we decided to get a pregnancy test. Super casual night, went and got pizza.
Just went out on a date, and everything was normal. Picked up a pregnancy test afterwards.
Came home, and Corey went in the bathroom with me and took the test, and I think it said it was supposed to have results in like 2 minutes or something.
And it was like 10 seconds.
It turned positive instantly. And I just like had it sitting on the floor, and I looked down at it and saw that it was positive, and I was like, so I just kind of waited a few more seconds and looked again, and it was still positive.
It was positive. Wasn't changing.
So then we took the second one. It was positive.
Then we had to wait about 10 minutes for her to refill on her fluids so she could take another one.
Yeah.
That was about the slowest 10 minutes of our lives.
Yeah. So this was on a Friday, and we obviously were going to go to the doctor to have a proper pregnancy test done just to make sure.
Then it was Martin Luther King Day that Monday, so we had to wait all weekend, and then it was Martin Luther King Day, and we drove around to two different clinics, and they were both closed. So we had to go to the very last one in our town, and it was open.
And I was still pregnant. What was your initial thoughts?
Just surprised.
Yeah.
We were a little scared. We really handled it really well. We weren't too scared. I mean, obviously we were scared, but we were just excited, started making decisions.
We wanted to have kids anyway, so it wasn't like something bad. It was just, like you said, unexpected. So that was on a Monday. Came home, called my mom because I didn't know what to do, and called my doctor so I could start setting up appointments. So next question that no one has asked, but I'm sure people are wondering, is were we trying to have a baby?
Which is complicated.
It is. So literally the very first day that Corey and I ever texted, I told him that I did not want to have kids.
The first conversation we had was about not having kids.
And it was relevant. It wasn't like I just said that out of nowhere. But I guess like growing up, I assumed I'd have kids, like everyone does. And then once I got to the age where all of my high school friends and stuff were having kids, I really had to stop and think about it, and I just didn't think it was for me. What about you?
Basically the exact same boat. Like she said, as kids, I always thought that I would have them, but as I became an adult and started making my own decisions, just didn't feel like that would be something that I ever did.
And then
I met her and instantly started talking about having kids with her.
Yeah.
The next week was talking about having kids with her.
So I guess part of the reason I never wanted kids was it just never really made sense to me. I just couldn't imagine ever like wanting that. But then we got together and it really made sense. Like I could not wait to have a kid with him. Also, I guess this kind of gets into the next part or the next question. This is April. We've only been together since October. So this has been a really fast-paced relationship. Yeah. We got together in October, got engaged in November, and got pregnant in December. So yeah, kids had, like I said, when we first started talking, neither one of us wanted kids. Literally the next week, we're like, should we start trying to have kids? And we kind of went back and forth. There was like a time where
we were talking about we're ready to start trying to have a kid together.
And then, ironically, Friday was when we took the at-home pregnancy test. The day before, we decided...
I forgot about that.
We decided to officially wait because we want to move.
We spent all day talking about what we were going to be doing for the next year of our life, where we're going to be going. Decided we wanted to wait a year or so and try to get out of here and get things going for ourselves a little bit.
Neither one of us wanted to have a kid here. We don't like living here. We don't feel like this is where we want to raise a kid. So we actually sat down and made the official plans.
Made that decision the day before we found out.
Yeah, made the official plans to move. And then I was literally pregnant when we were having this conversation. So I honestly, like I said, I didn't want kids. There was a lot of stuff about pregnancy that I didn't know. So if you don't know, like I'd say I'm 18 weeks. So that starts at the first day of your last missed period. So I don't really know for certain when we conceived. So it could have been when we were trying to have a baby, and it could have not been. We don't know. But regardless, this isn't like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just, well, we weren't really expecting it. So another question I have written down here is, were we already engaged? Like I said, this has been a fast-paced relationship. Yes, we were. For about a month.
Few weeks. So another question that we have written down here is, what did our families say whenever we told them? And first off, we just told both of our mothers. And they were both excited for us, just happy to be grandmas.
We are first-time parents. Neither one of us have kids. I've never been pregnant before, so I didn't know what the heck to do. And both of our moms are nurses, so it just kind of made sense for us to ask them, see what our next steps should be, things like that. And it was a while before we told anyone else. So next question is, do we have a name picked out already? And we do.
We do have a name picked out.
And we love it.
But you don't get to know yet.
I think we're going to hold off on telling until she's here, at least on the internet. A few of our family members already know. But yeah, we're just gonna.
We just don't want y'all knowing yet.
Just I would feel pretty upset if someone
made fun of our daughter's name.
Yeah. People on the internet can be ruthless, so we're gonna wait on that.
And we need more things for videos. So it's just another video for us. More content.
Keep you hooked, keep you interested. So something that Cora's cousin asked us was if Loki, our dog, has noticed that I was pregnant or not. A lot of dogs can kind of sense that women are pregnant and get, kind of protective. I don't think Loki has.
No, doesn't seem to.
But he already is really protective and jealous. He always has been. Won't really let us pet other dogs or anything. Just kind of gets in between them. He really
won't let us, if we kiss or hug each other, then he will force his way in between us.
The other day we were just standing in our room hugging, and he literally just pried in between our body and just stood there. He already is really needy.
You can't really get any more protective or needy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't tell the difference in whether he can tell if I'm pregnant or not.
She's also not showing yet at all.
Yes, I am.
Not for Loki and the clothes you've been wearing.
True.
She's only slightly showing so far right now, so maybe after he's able to tell a little bit more, or maybe once the baby gets here, he'll have some noticeable changes. But right now, he's just the same old Loki.
Yep. He's a 2-year-old pit bull.
Okay, so at first we had just told both of our mothers, and then we planned on telling everyone pretty quickly after that. But then about 2 weeks after that, we told our mothers. We went in for our first ultrasound.
It was a little later than 2 weeks.
It was a little later than 2 weeks?
So I was 5 weeks pregnant whenever we found out I was pregnant. And then I had to go in for an official pregnancy test at my doctor. And then I had to go in, we had a consultation. And then I went in to meet with my doctor and had my pelvic exam. And then I had my first ultrasound scheduled for 10 weeks. So we had our first ultrasound scheduled for 10 weeks. We were both really looking forward to it. Obviously, as soon as we found out I was pregnant, we both started doing crazy research. And I found out there was such a high rate of just spontaneous miscarriages during the first trimester. And that once you're able to actually hear the baby's heartbeat, it kind of goes down.
We just wanted to wait until we heard the baby's heartbeat for the first time, until we told the rest of our family, just to kind of make sure everything was okay first.
So the morning of our appointment, at like 7:30 in the morning, I got a call from the doctor's office, and they had to reschedule us.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, for 2 weeks later.
So that was 2 more weeks of waiting to make sure that everything was going well.
Yeah. And seriously, from the time I found out I was pregnant, I just had like a feeling that something was going to go wrong. Like I can't, and I know I'm sure a lot of first-time mothers or mothers in general are super like worrisome and worry about their baby, especially that early, because you can't feel it, you can't see it or anything.
Don't really know what's going on. But instantly you had a feeling if we should wait and figure out what's going on until we tell people, because you kind of had a inkling that something was wrong.
Yeah. So I was super anxious to have that first ultrasound and just hear the heartbeat. So we had to wait another 2 weeks and then went in and had the ultrasound, and
everything went well.
Yeah, there was nothing, they didn't tell us anything, heard the heartbeat. The only thing they really said is that they thought my due date should be pushed back a week because the baby was kind of small. So this was on a Monday. And then that Wednesday, I had my monthly appointment with the doctor, and he didn't get to go because he had taken off work Monday to go to the ultrasound. So I met with the doctor, and she told me that they had kind of flagged the ultrasound because they found an abnormality at the back of the baby's neck. And she said it could be nothing, but just in case, she referred us to a maternal fetal medicine specialist. So I was 12 weeks at that time, and the next week we met with the specialist. So at 13 weeks, and both of our moms and my grandma went with us just for support. It was scary, being told that there was potentially something wrong.
Something to be worried about. So after we met with the specialist and we had our more in-depth ultrasound, they pulled us into the back room to talk with the doctor. So the spot that they had seen on the back of the baby's neck turned out to be a cystic hygroma. And it was measured at 9.9 millimeters, which is pretty large for a cystic hygroma, one of the largest that we were able to find online.
So a cystic hygroma is basically just fluid under the baby's skin. That puts a lot of strain on the baby, and also it can develop into hydrops, which is fluid covering a lot more of the body, which is really bad.
So then once he diagnosed us with the cystic hygroma, there's usually some things that are associated with the cystic hygroma?
Yeah, there was when you have a septated cystic hygroma like we did, there was about a 60% chance that the baby would have some type of genetic condition. So I had to leave from there, and it was much too soon for me to have an amniocentesis, so I'd had a cell-free DNA test, which is where they draw my blood and then test for the baby's DNA kind of floating around in my blood. But the doctor also told us when we were speaking with him then that basically it just didn't look good, and that of the possibilities of the conditions the baby could have had, he just really didn't think that the baby would make it to birth, and actually suggested that we go ahead and terminate the pregnancy. It wasn't looking good.
But we wanted to go ahead and get the testing done, the DNA testing done, to just kind of get more idea of what we were working with.
Right.
So we did that, had the talk with the doctor, we left there and went and had the testing done. We went home after that. They told us it'd be about 7 to 10 days for the testing. It was about 6 days later we got the call telling us that the testing results had came back and that she tested positive for Turner syndrome.
So the test tested for all different kinds of genetic conditions. Turner syndrome, trisomies 13, 18, and 21. I had already, obviously, that week was absolute torture waiting to get the results back. We knew that there was most likely a chance that there would be some type of genetic condition, so we were really doing a lot of research to see what they could be and if it were depending on which one it was, kind of what that meant. So we did find out that it was Turner syndrome, which means that it is a girl. We're having a baby girl. Because basically Turner syndrome is everyone has two sets of sex chromosomes. Females have two X's and males have an X and a Y. And Turner syndrome is when either all or a part of the second X chromosome is missing. So Turner syndrome only affects females. So as opposed to like trisomies 13 or 18, babies with Turner syndrome do have a much better chance of living a healthy life. There are some health problems associated with Turner syndrome, but
there's nothing really life-threatening from it, or like
there's nothing
impairing.
There's nothing certain. Like, it's not certain that there are going to be like really serious health conditions. There can be, but it's not. They're not doomed, I guess. So there is only a 1% chance that babies with Turner syndrome make it to birth, which was terrifying to find out.
Yeah, horrible to hear.
Basically, when the doctor called and told me that the test came back positive for Turner's, he was just kind of like, sorry, basically. Started talking about our next pregnancy and that if we wanted to try again, he saw absolutely no reason that we had to worry about a baby also having Turner's. He said there's less than a 1% chance. But essentially, he was just kind of saying, move on. We found out she had Turner's when I was 13 weeks along, and we didn't have our next appointment until 17 weeks. So we had a month of kind of just basically waiting to miscarry. It was awful.
The hardest times that we've had to go through.
Definitely the hardest time I've ever had to go through. It was just, I don't know, we were just really sad. You know, we had been so excited. And I think it was harder because it was no one's fault. The baby just had really bad luck. There's like a 1 in 5,000 chance of getting Turner's. And it wasn't either of our faults. There's nothing wrong with us.
Which seems like it would make it easier, but doesn't really help with anything.
Yeah, we couldn't blame it on anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fast forward to last week, 17 weeks, we had our follow-up appointment, and the baby's doing much better. The cystic hygroma has gone down, which is really good.
Which was one of the main things that we were worried about, was the size of the cystic hygroma.
Yeah. And this was our full anatomy scan, so they checked the heart, the brain, the kidneys, the liver, the spine. She is still measuring small, which is part of the Turner's, they think. Usually women with Turner syndrome are small in stature, and it does look like she has a heart defect. But, and although having a heart defect is major and it's very unfortunate and sad, the doctor did pull miscarriage off the table. The baby is developing like she should be, and yeah, she's still trucking along. We're 18 weeks, 4.5 months in. She's still hanging in there.
Going strong.
Yeah, her heartbeat has slowed down within normal range, which was huge. It was really high. And they thought that had to do with like the stress of the hygroma and the heart defects. Her heart was just having to work overtime. So it slowed down, the hygroma's gone down. She's hanging in there.
So what they can tell so far about her heart defect is that it's a problem with her left ventricle, which is one of the 4 chambers of your heart. It's the chamber that pumps the oxygenated blood through the rest of your body, so it's the part that gets all the oxygen to the rest of your body. And hers is just slightly undeveloped. It's just having a little hard time developing correctly.
So we are being referred to a fetal cardiologist in a few weeks to have a more proper look at the heart and kind of see what needs to be done. But our doctor seems to think that there's no reason that this should affect her in utero, and this is just something that we'll have to deal with probably immediately after she's born. So we'll have to deliver in
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, in a specialty children's hospital.
So pretty much right now the diagnosis is that you can make it to birth normally, and then we'll just most likely have to deal with a heart defect then somehow with open heart surgery or some type of surgery like that.
And she is still testing positive for Turner syndrome. We're not going to move forward with having an amnio done.
There's not really anything that it can tell us. There's nothing that we can do to really help it right now. So there's no information that we could, that would help us to gain from that. and really it just puts the baby at more of a risk.
Right.
So
I mean, now that we know that there's a better chance of her making it to birth, it doesn't really matter what genetically, I guess, how she is. So I think maybe eventually at some point we'll probably do like a more detailed video on Turner syndrome. I know whenever
we will definitely be doing a lot more videos over Turner syndrome once she gets here.
Whenever we were waiting to see, what she was going to be diagnosed with, and then especially after she was diagnosed with Turner's, I looked so hard for videos on babies that actually made it with Turner's, because like we said, there is only a 1% chance. Those videos are very hard to find.
Very hard to find.
Once she gets here and we can kind of see how the Turner's is affecting her, because there is no set kind of characteristics for women with Turner's. It's kind of on a spectrum. There can be really severe cases and there can be completely mild cases where some women don't even know they have it until they're in their 20s.
And it's diagnosed so little at this point that they really don't even have information on the things that's associated with it.
Right. So I think once she's here and we get a better look at, how the Turner's is affecting her, we'll definitely be doing more videos in case
there's some other parents who are going through the same things, that hopefully we can give them some resources to look at that we didn't have.
Exactly. So our next steps is we're just going to continue on with this pregnancy like normal. We'll obviously have to meet with more specialists.
Probably double up on our doctor's visits throughout it.
We'll have to deliver in a children's hospital. But yeah, we're having a baby in September.
A little girl.
Little baby girl, which is what you wanted.
Which is what I hoped for.
Whenever we first found out, I was so sure that it was a boy. I just felt like it was a boy. Until,
about the week before we found out, you started saying that you think it's a girl.
I just kind of was like, oh, you know what? It could be a girl. And it was. So we had told some family members kind of in between finding out that the baby had Turner's and when we got the more positive news this past week, but now everyone knows. We made our
official announcement.
Yeah, our baby is Facebook official as of a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows. We've had nothing but support, which has been great.
It's helped out so much.
Yeah.
Especially on your side of the family.
Yeah, everyone's been great. Baby already has all her bedroom furniture.
She's already being spoiled. Got her first clothes already.
So we're each the oldest, grandkids on our
Kids,
family.
grandkids, everything.
Yeah, oldest siblings, everything. So we're having the first, grandkids for our parents. So everyone's super excited. Baby's already being spoiled so much. So yeah, next steps, we're just going to continue with our appointments, start getting ready for her. We will be moving into a new place soon. So like we said, we made the plan to move away and then found out that we're having a baby. And especially now that it's looking like she's going to have some health problems, it kind of makes more sense to stay here.
As long as we can.
Yeah.
To save up as much as possible.
And yeah, I have good insurance here. She has really good doctors here. And yeah, it just makes more sense for us to stay here for a little while longer.
Use our support system as much as we can.
So now instead of saving up to move away, we're saving up to move into a new place. So we'll be doing that soon.
The next couple of weeks we'll be getting into there, and as soon as we do, we'll be putting a lot more time and energy into this channel and both of our individual channels.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back into the swing of things.
As soon as we're done filming this, I'm going to be filming kind of like a recap of my first trimester. I've loved watching those videos since I've been pregnant, just saying how, oh my god, it sounded like such a hit.
I didn't just hear.
Just seeing how, other women are handling their pregnancies, things like that. So if you're interested in that, I'll have that up soon.
Alright, I guess that's it, guys. That's why we haven't been putting the content out as much as we had hoped to.
But we do really want to start now. We really want to start vlogging. It's just been really hard. We actually started a vlog before we went to our first ultrasound.
Yeah, and then we had planned on vlogging through the whole pregnancy up till now. It's just, once we found out all the news and stuff, it hit us kind of hard. It was hard on us emotionally and stuff. And
yeah, it's not fun to get a camera
Yeah.
out and point it at yourself when you're sad or have been crying. So, but yeah, now that things are looking up and we're super excited, and I am starting to show now, starting to feel more real. We have baby's clothes, her furniture. We're about to move into our new place and be able to set up our nursery and stuff. So we definitely want to start vlogging. If you want to see them, be sure to subscribe to this channel. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions for us about anything, I guess.
Anything you want answered in the next video.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. I'll have all of our socials and other channels linked in the description as well. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye, guys. But the doctor also told us, Jesus Christ.
Told us. The doctor told us.
The doctor.
I'm diving deeper, deeper for you.